Hey, what's up, guys? The Strong Boys 19 here, and I am here with a guest of mine named Jamie on the screen. So, both
G'day.
of us are going to be reviewing the new album from the mighty alternative experimental metal titans of Deftones. We are going to be reviewing their new album entitled Ohms. This is their ninth studio album, and it is the follow-up to 2016's Gore, with Terry Date doing the production work for this album. I gotta say, Ohms is definitely worth the anticipation for me because I've been a fan of the band for a long time and I have loved their discography, especially with White Pony being one of my favourite albums of all time. And I really do love some of the later albums, and Koi no Yokan being my personal favourites from the later half of their discography. But I think with this album, this is to me like a huge nostalgia reflecting experience. I have listened to this album at least 4 times in a row, and it just got better for me every time I listened to it. So, Jamie, what do you personally think about the album itself?
The repetitive factor is very strong on this album. Like, you can play this album countless times and you'll never get sick and tired of it. To me, I think it's one of their best albums. Yeah, this is one of Deftones' best albums. I really enjoyed it. I love how they combined all their sounds from the previous albums onto this album. It seems like what Paradise Lost did with Obsidian. Combine all their sounds and put it onto this album. I really enjoyed this album. Really enjoyed Ohms.
That is absolutely one of the things that Deftones had been very productive about for a long amount of time, because from the early albums they went from being very catchy, groovy and aggressive with their sound, but in later eras go by they experiment with different genres like shoegaze to dream pop and lots of melody and clean guitars. And even through the lineup change after Chi, I think they've still got a lot of strengths in their past. So this album is, in my opinion, a huge return to form in their career for a long amount of time, since Koi no Yokan, as I said, being one of my favourite Deftones albums. So
Same here. Really enjoyed that album. It's probably my favorite as well.
we're going to go into our opinions on each of the tracks to this album. The first track and single, Genesis. Synthesizer noises to slowly buzz in a creepy way with a few notes from the guitar that takes me to a bit of a White Pony sound, and then the band bursts through with Chino screaming and hearing vocal effects at the same time. The aggression is a return back to the earlier albums from the 2010s with its low-key breakdown style riffage, and the multi-tracked vocals fitted very comfortably with its mood. And I really like the cleans because they were neatly expressive once again, like the previous records, and it does present the sound in a darker feel.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this song. This is one of my first Deftones songs I heard fully. And yeah, just love how heavy and gritty those guitar riffs are, really nice chord progression. And not to mention, Chino's vocals are absolutely insane in this, aggressive. Love the distorted tones on his vocals. And I just love how they incorporate elements of shoegaze on this song, especially the bridge part becomes sort of a crescendo towards that chorus, to the last chorus. That is absolutely fantastic. One of the best moments off the album.
Excellent stuff. Track number 2 with Ceremony. A few small notes from the guitars and Abe's rhythm on the drums begin to grow. The riffs deliver into something assaulting, and the bass lines in the verses were excellent. There is a great selection of groove in the later half on the instrumentation, while Chino explores his placements on his screams and puts in some sections of brief harmonies on his vocals. This is another excellent song that's one of my favourites on the album.
Ceremony, yeah, I really did enjoy Ceremony. Like you said, I really love how prominent the bass is, and the production on this album, especially on this song, is one of the best. The the actual drum sound on this album is nearly as good as Around a Fur, in my opinion. Absolutely love the tone of the snare. Really enjoyed Chino's vocals on this song, and the chorus is absolutely fantastic. So it's another tight and cohesive song by Deftones.
That is another standout track, and the next track, Urantia, some quick picking on the palm muting at the start, then changes to gentle guitars with synth notes, and then switches back while the drumming continues to build, and the instrumentation is an intriguing sound from its mid-tempo. Again, I really like the vocals that share some melody overall in the song, and I find the chorus on this one to be a memorable one that grabs me every time with its feeling that it speaks in its mellow touch.
Yeah, so Chino expresses a lot of emotion on this song, and the lyrics are pretty deep overall. Really enjoy this song. Really love the instrumentals on this song, especially the nice tight drum fills you're getting as well. Overall, really enjoyed Urantia.
Really, really good stuff here. Then the next track, another one of the favourites for me, entitled Error. Noisy and glitchy guitar sounds all over with Abe's fantastic drumming. The music presents one of the genty-ish style riffing. This takes me to an era like one of the Diamond Eyes tracks with its familiar sound, and the chorus is another one where it feels engaging, and I really like the music change on the bridge, let alone that changes the entire riff into something else, and I find it fitting with its comfortable touches with the less aggressive sound, and one of the highlights on the album.
Yeah, this song is absolutely fantastic. Really love it. This is one of my favorite Deftones songs. I loved it. I love how new metally this song feels. That chorus is absolutely fantastic. And Chino's vocals are really good as well. Dynamic in range. And this gives me vibes from Around a Fur and even Adrenaline, those new metal albums. So really enjoyed the song.
The next track on the album, The Spell of Mathematics. Some very good variation of the music from its jumping energy and changes to other softly tones afterwards. The vocals feel soothing from its reverb. The screams from Chino sound very, very good from his vocal distortion. And the song has a feeling to it as the whole piece progressed and touches the listener with a different form of expression. And I love the beats of the drumming while the synth sounds are faintly showing themselves, while the guitar chords play gently and hearing the sounds of fingers snapping. The soft placements to me sparkle in some dreamy feel to it while the progression goes through the song.
I really enjoyed this song. Love the conclusion of the song that leads on to Pompeii, but the conclusion of the song is one of the best moments of the album. Like you said, fingers snapping, and the tone of the snare on this particular song sounds fantastic, and how atmospheric this feels. Really enjoyed Chino's vocals on this song as well. A lot of people saying sort of schizophrenic. Heard of a lot of reviewers describing his vocals to be like that. Love the chorus, and it's another solid song by this band.
Then the next track on this album, Pompeii. I thought it was Pompeii at first, but it's a weird...
I thought it was Pompeii.
It's a weird pronunciation for me. The song reflects a similar founding tone from a mixture of a bit of White Pony and Koino Yokan together, and I like how experimental it sounded with the different guitar sounds and effects, that they are glued to the eardrums on the verse sections and popping in a cool amount of the band's bursted, brief heaviness. The vocals are once again filling with melody, and I thought the harmonies are a huge part of their signature sound that they've been providing for years. Not just the instrumentation itself, but Chino's vocals are as an important addition to their sound. And the last touches to the song delivers in some ambient sounds with a beautiful atmosphere later on. It blends in so perfectly with nature sounds and the water. And the synth parts take to a Brian Eno or an Aphex Twin-ish piece to me.
Yeah. So this is probably my favorite Deftones song of all time. I gotta admit, I really enjoy this song. Love that chorus. But Jesus Christ, so damn good. Chorus is amazing. Chino's vocals are really good, dynamic, and just love his distorted vocals on this particular song. The conclusion is absolutely fantastic. It really is. The synthesizers, the eerie synthesizers that are very haunting, that bleeds on perfectly well to the next song. But yeah, really enjoyed Pompeii.
The next track, This Link Is Dead, is possibly the heaviest sound on this album because it's such a wild, frenetic sound. It's immediately hooked me right up with a feeling of an era from Around the Fur, another one of my favourite Deftones albums, because of its loud and blaring tone of the distorted vocals and the quick tempo for the drums and the very screechy high notes on the guitars. This music is very nostalgic to me with its broody and intense experience. It's an instant sense of tension going around to make a feeling of panic to erupt. This is a really cool song.
Yeah, this is an intense fucking song off the album. Absolutely killer of a song. I really enjoyed it. Now, this song really reminds me of something out of Self-Titled, especially that riff throughout that chorus, when girls telephone boys. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this song. That riff is infectious. Gino's vocals are really aggressive as well. There's a lot of anger in this song.
That's another one where it follows the album very, very well as Ceremony and Genesis, etc. But then it goes into another one of the favourites for me, being Radiant City. This is a really good track with really good speed of its hook that stands out, chugging riffs and eerie harmony again, and the tone presents the band at a huge variety of structure with a dramatic chorus, and the song itself brings a catchy edge. This is a really good song to follow up the previous song because each member sounded very consistent of how defining they've been for ages, and this is another one of my favourites on this album.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Radiant City as well. One thing was I felt that song was a little bit too short. Wanted the song to go on a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's okay. I love long songs, and yeah, what can you do? Really love that chorus. Love that chorus, and throughout the mix, you can hear there are some symphonic elements on this song in that chorus that just creates this atmosphere. Symphonic elements are very low in the mix, but that creates that atmosphere for this song. And Chino's vocals again are really good. A really nice guitar. The bass is quite prominent, but yeah, it's another solid song by Deftones.
The second to last track on this album, Headless. Very slow and haunting sound on its ambient tone once again. The clean notes present the song into a mood that's different to the rest previously on the record, and it sounded then fresh and vibrant with the production. This driving and stellar song works out very comfortably as it will grow to hear some great collection of riffs later on. The easing in, comforting sound swirls around me over time in the song while they steadily continue on to proceed. The textures that definitely combines things and fits its overall worth of the track.
Yeah, to me, I didn't really get into this song. I feel that Headless was the weakest song off the album. I just feel it was in the wrong place on the album. Wrong place on the album. Because we've had such strong songs on this album, and although it's slow and it's quite atmospheric at times, yeah, I didn't quite enjoy this song.
Fair enough. I mean, we have our different opinions. I mean, not every Deftones song is perfect, but I really did enjoy Headless. I think that it follows up the previous tracks nicely, and then we finish the album with the title track and single of the album besides Genesis, the last and the title track of Ohms. This is the one that I think it concludes the album very nicely. I love the upbeat sound being very addicting and catchy because it sounds very passionate from its vibe, and the chords are soaring all over with the right amount of feel, and again the vocals were excellent. Still felt strong on its tight playing and powering strength, and the musicianship was stunning, not only for this song, but a lot of the previous tracks have some of the best sounds of the musicianship from Deftones that I've heard in ages. And I think Ohms is really, really good, but I feel that Genesis begins the album in a much more precise way.
I agree. Genesis was such a really strong song to start off the album, and I feel that Ohms was a really weak song to end off the album. Pompeii, I feel, should have finished off this album, because that's an absolutely amazing song, and to end it with such a haunting vibe for Ohms would have been amazing. Ohms maybe should have been in the middle, in my opinion, but yeah, this album is still pretty free-flowing, flows like current. But yeah, I just feel this is another weak song by this band, but still catchy as they incorporate elements of grunge on this song, which I do enjoy. It's got a catchy chorus, but yeah, it's okay. It's an okay song.
That's fair enough for me, mate. So, Ohms by Deftones, to me, is an absolutely fantastic album. It presents one of the band's most triumphant and unique ways of exploration of sound. The production, to me, is Deftones at their very best in production. Terry Date, being a big worker for Deftones previously, his production was absolutely phenomenal. This is the best production since Koino Yokan, in my opinion, and as much as I love productions from White Pony and Around the Fur, but I feel this production is one of the best things about this album. It sounds fresh, it sounds new, and it gives me such a really great and connecting vibe to dive into the album very much deeper. So, on to the ratings for me, and for Jamie as well. I am going to give Ohms by Deftones quite a very substantially high rating, which is a 9.5 out of 10. I have loved this album so much that I would regard this as one of the top 3 favourite albums of the year. I have loved a lot of the stuff from Napalm Death's new album, which will be in the top 3 as well, but I feel that this album is a really big coming back to album for me.
Yeah, so it's really tidy case of album by Deftones. Really enjoyed it, really did, and there's a strong repetitive factor. Like, I've listened to this album about 6 or 7 times, and I haven't got sick of it yet. And like you said, the production is fantastic. The instrumentals are so well balanced, but they also got that raw tone as well, which I really do enjoy. Overall, Chino's vocals are really good. Some people shit on his vocals on this album. I've seen some reviews. I've seen some people shit on the production as well, which is very surprising, but it's a rawness of this album that really makes me come back listening to it again. So for Ohms Deftones, I'll give this an 8 out of 10.
That is really, really good. So that basically wraps things up for us to review Ohms by Deftones. Guys, if you haven't checked out Jamie's channel, I will provide the link in the description below. If you are into tons of content of metal reviews, his channel is all on that. Loads of metal album reviews of albums that have come out for each year, but also done separate discography rankings and some listening and reacting type videos. But his content for me is really, really good stuff, and I've been a recent subscriber not too long ago, so I think Jamie deserves a lot of the attention that he will deserve. He has a few thousand subscribers. Check out his channel and let me know what you think about this album in the comments down below, and a big thanks to Jamie for participating in this review.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
anytime, man. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.